Drone scares striking yet again. California officials now offering a reward for information on drone operators who interfered with aircraft fighting these dangerous wildfires. And we've got a Kentucky gentleman. He is thrown in jail for shooting a drone down. It was equipped with a camera hovering over his property, taking footage of his children. Rich says we need tougher rules right now. Rich, what do you explain?
Well, we need clear rules. Clearly, these drones, these are not tiny little objects. They're pretty big. They have the ability to crash into people, hurt them. They have the ability to invade people's privacy. And last segment, we talked about terrorism. Imagine terrorists flying drones over football stadiums or Disneyland.
Yeah, that's a good point. John, what do you think? More regulations for drones?
A resounding no. Drones have the potential to truly transform how we transact with people, how they sell to us, how quickly we can get goods. Why on earth, with something that could be truly transformative, do we want to let the government in on this? Imagine if we'd done that in the dawn of the internet in the late 90s.
You know what, Steve, this is about defending the airspace over your home, right? And airplanes, said, wait, you can't do that. But now we've got drones recording children. As Rich said, terrorists possibly using drones as well. Isn't this going to change property rights and property laws on their head?
Oh, absolutely. Just as the rise of the automobile, you had rules of the road and things like that to make sure you didn't have anarchy, didn't hurt the rise of the automobile and the way it enriched society. So you have this new vehicle that can do a lot of good, but to have it do good, can't have anarchy. If something is over my house, invading my privacy, I thought that Kentucky guy did absolutely right. Yeah. So you need rules of the air, not rules of the road, but rules of the air, so these things can prosper and not be run into airplanes and invading people's privacy.
Right. And what happened, Bruce, was that Kentucky guy and a guy in New Jersey got in trouble for using a weapon to shoot down these drones. Look, Bruce, we've got this video. Look at this. This is a drone that's equipped with a gun. So where do you come in on this? What do you think?
Well, I think if you're going to be fly a drone, I mean, you should at least, and Steve points out in the automobile industry, you should at least have something like a driver's license, a permit to fly it. Maybe I know John doesn't like regulations, but you could have commercial permits for business, and you could have people driving around. I mean, people are flying these into the White House. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're asking for regulation.
Yeah, Sabrina, and here's the thing. As the rules stand now, the FAA rules say that the pilots of the people operating these drones, they just got to get permission of from the people whose property that they're flying over. Really? That's really going to happen? What do you think?
Right, exactly. I'm, of course, very wary of regulations, and I don't like regulations that come in the wake of some kind of sort of hysteria. And so I want to make sure that we are being careful. And to John's point, I think that drones have a tremendous opportunity to help the economy. That being said, we do have the right to sort of certain protections against for privacy, for instance. And this is very fast developing technology, and it may be the case that some state and local laws do need to be tightened up and strengthened just a little bit in order to make sure that I am protected if I am outside in my home or my children are outside, right, and that we can't just have our privacy taken away like that.
Property laws are going to change. Bill, what do you think?
I wonder if the freedom-loving John Tamney is aware of the fact that model airplanes, which are smaller than drones, have killed people. There was one case involving a woman who was just walking down the sidewalk and got taken out. And another one, the radio-controlled helicopter turned on its owner. And just wait until one of these toys takes out the elevator flap on an Airbus. Yeah, we're looking for a tragedy here.
John, Amazon thinks it can fix the problem with drone-free zones, for goodness sake. What do you think of what Bill just said?
Well, anecdote does not mean fact, and I just want to meet all
means death. Wait a second. Fact? Wait a second, John. It's not fact when somebody dies. Go ahead.
Yes, but I want to meet all these...
it is a fact that the person died, but that's more than just a fact.
And I'm just dying to meet all these people who, because they're in government, suddenly have halos around their head and can protect us. We're hearing about privacy. Oh, wow, government's been great about our privacy over the years. We're hearing about private property. Government's been great at protecting private property over the years. Where are these angels in government that are going to do all these wonderful things that my panel mates say are going to do?
Rich, what do you think?
Well, look, John uses the metaphor of the Internet, and that's just the wrong comparison because the Internet is bits and bytes. These drones are physical objects. They have weight. They have velocity. They're like cars. They're like airplanes. They're not like bits and bytes.
Steve, what do you think?
Well, the FAA actually, in terms of regulation, has been a real barrier to the full development commercially of drones in this country. Until recently, we were very much behind Europe. So that's where regulation's been bad. But regulation, where you have zones where these things can fly, where you have certain property rights, where you don't have anarchy. I mean, government, there's not a choice between rules and anarchy. You can have sensible rules of the road. And that's what we want here, sensible rules, so these things can be fully developed while protecting some of our basic rights.
All right, next up, the Cash It In gang getting ready to roll at the bottom of the hour. Eric, what do you got?
Hey, EMAC, a special Cash It In today with Donald Trump. Before next week's big debate here on Fox, he's telling us what he really thinks about the other presidential hopefuls and what would be his first if he wins the White House. All that and a whole lot more. Don't miss this one, 11:30 Eastern.
All right, thanks, Eric. We will be watching, but up here first, what's Tom Brady's suspension have to do with the IRS chief's job? You're going to find out, and that's next. Don't go away.